Welcome to Tapped In. This is David Figueroa-Martinez of DFM Coaching. And on this episode, I'm be covering our Jiu-Jitsu tag team event that we did this morning. And I didn't quite know what to really expect, if I was going to be honest. I had mentioned it because I heard about it on a podcast, BJJ Mental Models, and it gave me the idea of how can I make this something that the morning group can do? Not every week, maybe once a month, and kind of make it as like this fun event. And how do I make it possible within 1 hour? So what we ended up doing was we set brackets down. I got teams together based on who committed to being there. And it's going to be a little awkward because you're always going to have someone that shows up that you didn't quite expect. And you're going to have life get in the way, and some people just they don't show up because of one thing or another. They get ill, work commitment, life commitment, family, whatever. It is what it is. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So you have to be a little bit flexible in that sense when you put the brackets together. Have the wherewithal to understand that you might have to shift people around or add a team, take away a team, whatever it might be. So they were 10-minute rounds and two-man teams, or two-person teams, I should say. And every 2 minutes, you and your partner switched out. And what we ended up doing was I tried to stagger the teams in a way that I didn't have two purple belts on the team, or I didn't have a black belt and a brown belt on the team. I didn't have two small people together or two large people together. And I tried to stagger and kind of just move them in a way that it allowed them to be slightly even. Every matchup was not perfect. Every matchup was not down the line 50-50. But each match was at least entertaining and had its ability or possibility for a team to win. I didn't get the impression that there was ever a team that just was gonna, when you looked at it on paper, wasn't gonna do well. How people strategize is a whole nother thing. So when I broke these teams down, I paired them based on what I thought was even, and then I shared preemptively what those teams were. And that allowed the teammates to get together, talk amongst themselves, make up strategies. We did a couple of trial runs beforehand just to see if I had the correct time and the rule structure just right. And some people took advantage of it. We had a group on Wednesday, no-gi, small class. They got together and they were really able to come together with a plan. Hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I could see them plotting. So in the match, again, it was 10 minutes, two-person teams. Every 2 minutes, you switched out. Your partner, in a best case scenario, left you in a position that was beneficial. So once you switched out, you had to take your opponent, your team, your partner's position as it was. So if they were in the bottom of a mount with a hand in the collar, that's how we started. You got switched in, you were in the bottom of the mount, and it had a hand in the collar. There were certain positions that it didn't really quite work out because maybe you know how jiu-jitsu is. Sometimes you think you had a collar, you didn't quite have it as deep, or that type of thing, and there was a little bit of squabbling over, no, the hand was here, the hand was there, which is perfectly fine. That's part of the process, and you're trying not to get screwed in a way. And sometimes people just understood what the position was a little different than someone else. But for the most part, we were good. And so when you started in that position, you just had to play out of it. And there were times when also a position might be really advantageous to you because it's a position that you loved, but your partner does not do well in that position. So you may want to strategize, hey, this is good for me, but they're about to come in 30 seconds. I may not want to be here because it's not their strong position. And once they get in, the person might pass or get to a more advantageous position. So there's a lot of strategy in that sense. If you got tapped, you were eliminated from the match. If a team tapped both person, the match automatically ended. If a pair of teams lasted the full 10 minutes, we went to a judge who decided who the winner was. So we had, I think, one or two of those, maybe one. But we had two. Finals was like that too. But we had a couple of matches where there were submissions and a whole entire team got eliminated. So it added an element of that WWE Survivor Series type thing where you're eliminated And now your partner literally has to take up the entire mantle for the team and try to win this out. I thought it was a nice wrinkle. I did not tell anyone beforehand that we were going to do that. I had told them about 10 minutes, switching out every 2 minutes, and being switched in the exact position your partner was in. But I did not mention that a partner would be eliminated. I wanted to see how things would go. The matches continued until the end. And again, a judge decided who the winner was. And a lot of the matches were really close. The first match was really close. And that one could have gone either way. The last match, the finals, it ended up being 2-on-1. And Mike had to really gut out a worthy attempt. And he murdered these guys from north-south, which is his favorite position. It's not fun to be in. I get stuck in it too. And it's just draining. But he wasn't able to get a submission, so he ended up losing according to the judges, which is fair because his partner got eliminated and it's hard to come back from that. So what I had in mind, or what I had to get beforehand, was I ended up using Bracket HQ, which is a website where you can put in teams or individual people. It'll scramble the seating for you. You can pick a single elimination, round robin, something on points, and I think there was a fourth option. I knew we weren't going to use those. You could do double elimination, I believe, on that one. And if you had time, then it would help. Like, you enter some of these competitions locally and they have double elimination, and it really kind of helps out. So everyone gets experience. We only had an hour to play with, so I had to be really diligent about how many matches I threw in there. So they allow you to set up points or just pick who won that match, and then it obviously pushes over to the next part of the bracket, and it winds all the way down until you get a winner. It's pretty simple to use. It's free. There's a couple of ads, but it wasn't ad driven in a way like it got in the way of you doing the job. So it worked really well. If I recommend anyone that wants to use this for like something in-house, it's huge. The other thing I needed to get 2 belts, and I didn't know how to do it. I had debated whether I wanted to do medals, belts, and it came down to price, really. I was able to find like 2 WWE kid belts on Amazon, and at the time they were half off. So I think I got each of them for like 15 and some change, which is an easy, simple investment. It didn't cost me a whole lot. I think I looked this morning and they're more like $28, $30. Getting a little more expensive for what I want, but we'll figure it out. And I think that's really all I needed. The reason I did this was because sometimes when you're training and the weeks, days, months pass, you sometimes feel like they're all running together. You don't know one day from the next. And yes, the subject matter might be changing, but you're training with the same people. And if you don't have time to cross train, or you don't have time to visit other places or get a competition in, it's really hard to break up what training feels like. And when you're aiming to do this or have been doing this for a couple of years, you need that change of pace. You need that ability to the form of training you're doing for something else. And for me, I believe that it doesn't have to be like 100% grinding all the time, like I was coming up, and having these moments where the class is just silly. We're gonna have no instruction today. Let's get warmed up, and we're just gonna run a couple of tournaments, or you're gonna run a couple of brackets or a bracket. And these are the rule structure. This is how we're gonna run it. Let's have some fun. The thing that I was worried about in hosting this or doing it was that someone would get injured, and I was really adamant about the beginning, saying this is a friendly. We're not trying to injure each other. You're not trying to win worlds. It is literally a plastic WWE belt. It's kid size. It's not even going to fit you. Let's keep everything injury free. And for the most part, that's what we had. We had a couple of people do some stand up, but nothing crazy. We didn't allow heel hooks. It's in the gi, obviously. We did not allow knee bars. We were okay with toe hold, foot lock, wrist lock. Most of those we do anyway. But I didn't want to get it too extravagant and, oh yeah, we're going to do Inoki locks or whatever. It's okay. But for the most part, everything was super safe. No one went 1,000% and tried to hurt anyone. We did have a moment where an arm was stretched, and to Billy's credit, who's the other black belt instructor, he stepped in and said, we're just going to call it. And it was smart. It was wise on his part to kind of just call that. And no one got injured. No one had to put their pride on the line and say, no, I can gut it, and then have an accident. So I was really appreciative of that. Overall, it was a great experience. I think one of the things that happens is that I notice is that people coached, which I anticipated, and you're supposed to coach your partner. And I think that's going to grow a little bit the more we do these, because you really want your partner to be aware of the things that maybe they're not saying because it's a heightened event. It's not just a regular round. Everyone, and there's like, 10 of us, maybe that, are watching, and sometimes that narrows our field of focus and vision, and we let things happen that we normally wouldn't happen. So people were coaching, the partners were coaching, people who were watching were coaching and cheering certain people on. Lance, unfortunately, is a bigger guy, and people coached the underdog, and they didn't want to see him win. He ended up winning at the end, him and his partner, Doug. But anyways, so I think the coaching is going to get a little better, which I think helps when people want to start teaching, or maybe there's an event that someone wants to compete at and maybe I'm not available. I think that side aspect, that side quest that happens within this event is going to be huge, because then you start to learn how to give information in tidbits opposed to this overall arching belief or picture. So I think that's going to be a huge asset to the team. The strategy of it all is going to be a huge asset, because when you're rolling and you miss something, you're the only one that gets punished. Here, you might risk something big, and then you end up in bottom amount, and it's not just on you, it's now on your partner, because you got stuck there, you got switched, and now he or she has to get out from that position. So there's more of a understanding of the bigger picture of what risk is going to look like. There's also, I felt there was some forgiveness, and when things went wrong, and like, bro, I'm sorry you have to be in the bottom amount or bottom side or whatever it might be. And it was just an understanding that things aren't going to happen. All that was really fun to watch. It was fun to have a team atmosphere within jiu-jitsu, a sport that's so singular and independent, and it just added to, in my opinion, the camaraderie that you will see in a gym. So I highly recommend, if anyone's going to do these, to do them occasionally. They were really fun. The energy was high. There was no hurt feelings about anything. There was a judges core that went one way that could have gone either way, to be honest with you. No one complained. No one got angry. Things just kind of like, all right, now it's this round, now it's that round. It was all positive. It was all fun. It was all laid back and cheering and fun and laughing. I absolutely loved it. So I think that it's something I'm going to try to do once a month. I allowed the winners to keep the belts this time. I felt it was one of those things that's just the first time, by all means. But moving forward, I might get the belts, and we'll have to defend them in the tournaments, and might have a new champion, you might have a repeat. Who knows? So in the bigger scope of things, I think it's a great event. I think it's something that we should kind of push for at gyms or games like it, because it really elevates the team camaraderie. It forces people to get out of their comfort zone, because you're in essence competing, but it's not on a big stage. It's not at a community college somewhere or for a major belt or anything like that, or a major. I think that it allowed people to kind of just do something different. That was a huge aspect of this. Changed people's perceptions of maybe themselves, maybe their training partners. So I highly recommend it. I had a blast. I'm hoping that maybe next time I can participate, but who knows? Just putting it on as a timekeeper, and I kind of threw in jabs and comments here and there, was fun for me. But overall, highly recommend it. And I know I've already said that, but really, if you have the opportunity to do it, get out there, do it. Even if it's just amongst friends, something that you guys do during an open mat, just to fuck around and change the pace up, please do it. Anyways, if you have any questions, if you want to work with me, you can reach me at dfm.2099 on Instagram and Threads, or dfmcoaching.com if you wanted to work with me directly.
If you have any questions, please hit me up. I'm always up for answering questions and giving feedback. I do rolling videos, competition video reviews. We have a blog at Substack, Choke Point Chronicles. Check it out, read. Again, any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much.